Hi everyone, glad to see you all on this Saturday morning. I think we all have a bit of time on our hands, so I thought that I would do a beaded yarn video. One of the reasons why I like beaded yarn so much now is because I can use them on my looms, where before when I did a lot of my creative spinning techniques, it was a little bit more difficult to use on other looms or other looms or like crocheting and knitting with beaded yarn sometimes was a little difficult, but with continuous strand weaving, it's a lot of fun. You can just put in a couple stripes, so you can really get really crazy and creative with beaded yarn. I will also be doing some satin flowers in yarn, hopefully this week. So we can all have a lot of fun with our looms and use this time wisely to really get inspired. And I hope if other people have been doing something creative with their looms or their yarn, please post on our site to keep everyone motivated and off their TVs and off all the negative. So what I've done here, you can see I went to Nationals last week and I got some really great roving, and it has, oh my goodness, just everything in it. It's merino and some sparkles, some Angelina, some silk in it, and it's a lot of fun. And I've already put some on my spinning wheel. So in order to do beaded yarn, and I'm going to put you guys up here so that way I can have my hands free. There we go. I hope everyone can see that really well. Okay, so let me put it up just a little bit more. There we go. I think that is pretty good. There we go. Okay, so in order to do beaded yarn, you need 2 bobbins. And you can see I multi-use my peg loom here. Okay, so here's my first one, and I'm going to take this off. And I am using, if people are wondering what kind of wheel this is from Heavenly Hand Spinning, and I like it because they have great big huge bobbins, and they're easy to take on and off my wheel. So here's my first ply. So you need 2 plies. So I'm going to put that one right down there. And on your second ply, and I have some gray that I have here, and this is alpaca, but you need it thin enough so you can thread a needle through it, because what you're going to do is you're going to thread on some beads. So I have some nice glass beads right here. Put that right there. There we go. Okay, so I use glass and not plastic. I guess my feeling is if you're going to take the time to hand spin beads onto your yarn with alpaca and nice merino and satin and silk, why use plastic? Not to mention that glass weighs a little bit more, and if you do wind up selling your yarn by the ounce, get your money's worth. And they also wash up nice. So what I'm going to do is just thread on a bunch of beads. Keep in mind when you're choosing your beads, you want to make sure that your beads are small enough where they're going to fit through your orifice. If your beads are too big and they won't fit through cleanly through your orifice, this technique is not going to work. So you can see some of the beads, the holes just aren't big enough, and I'm using a really, really thin needle. go. And I just chose some colors that kind of went with that pretty, all the pretty blue hues in that yarn. And there was also some colors from different satin and silk in it. So after I get a few on here, and if you're wondering how many beads to put on, let's see how many we have here. We have here about 4 inches right now. I'm thinking for the amount of yarn that we're gonna do, probably about 8 inches of beads should do it. You're gonna be surprised of how far your beads go. But you can add on as many beads as you want to your yarn. Okay, I think that is good for demonstration purposes. And hopefully with the different colors, you'll be able to see the beads as they're going on. Okay, here we go. So I've got my one bobbin here of my gray with my beads on it. And I have my second bobbin here with my different color blues. I'm taking off my needle, setting my beads aside. Now, I'm gonna get my other bobbin here. Now, there's something I want to show you guys, and that's how to put on a proper leader on your bobbin. And I do have one on here right now, but I'm gonna make another one because I've seen people struggle with adding a leader on their bobbin. What I like to do is place my bobbin on my wheel first. And you need a nice bobbin leader so that way when you start spinning, especially if you're new to spinning, you have something to anchor that on. So there's my bobbin. Set that up just a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some acrylic yarn and just about a yard. Cut it. Now what I'm gonna do is just make a loop, just like that. Now I'm gonna take it, go around my bobbin, go through just like that, and then see how this string right here is kind of going that way? I'm gonna take it, go around the other direction, make another loop right there, and pull the string through. I hope you all got that. See, now we're nice and secure on that, and I hope you all could see that. See, that's not gonna go anywhere. Now I'm gonna make another eyelet on the other side, and this is what I'm going to secure my roving to. Just like that. Now, I'm gonna put my eyelet down there and pull it through my orifice with my orifice hook. Now I have my thread on my hook and my hook here on my flyer and right here. Now remember, your first ply was done in a clockwise motion, so now you want to make your wheel go in a counterclockwise motion. And you can feel how nice and strong that leader is. That's not gonna go anywhere. So now I'm gonna take my first ply and my second ply through my leader. and spin in a counterclockwise motion. And we're gonna go up just a little bit like that so you can see. I think that's good. Okay. Now, as you can see, all my beads are right up here. We don't want them all up there. We're gonna pull them down. Just get a little spin on this. Now, about every foot, I'm gonna pull up a bead off my gray here. And we're just gonna add it right in. And see, now that's nicely spun and it's not gonna go anywhere. We're gonna keep going. Put that in and pull up another bead. Here's my second one. Let that snake through. Now there is other ways to do beaded yarn, but I like this way because the beads stay right where you want them in your yarn and they don't move around when you're actually trying to make something with your yarn. So you can wash this yarn, work with it, and the beads are just gonna stay put. See, there's another one. See how I'm holding those beads with my left hand back, and as I want them, I just slip another one on, just like that. Now, if y'all get out your roving and start making beaded yarn, you're gonna have to post pictures on this post so that way we can all see what you're doing. Let's see. I can kind of show you what this looks like right here as I'm going. I'm gonna go a little faster and kind of show you how this is all kind of working out. See all those pretty beads in that yarn? That's gonna look great in a neck cowl or just about anything. And like I said, don't be afraid to get crazy, you know, with your colors and your textures, because you don't need to make your final project out of the whole skein of crazy beaded funky yarn. You can just use a couple strands in your project. So, I mean, we have all this time on our hands. Why not get creative? And have some fun. And this is a great way to use up a lot of like colored roving that maybe you have extra of. You can even make your own kind of slubs to add texture in your yarn along with it. Now the one that you want to use to put your beads on, you want to make sure that that's thin and fine. You could even use a commercially made yarn that's already done to put your beads on, and then have your other ply, kind of your crazy one, because you don't want to try to get those beads to thread on anything too thick. But just have a good time with it. Let's see, do we have any questions? Oh, Debbie, I'm glad you think it's cool. Hello. Let's see, James, let's see. see if I can answer some questions here. How big are the beads? What size? Anne Marie Dennis. Okay, so if you, let's see. These are actually like the smallest glass beads. They're called seed beads. And I got these at Michael's, and they have nice big holes. Now, they do have glass beads at Walmart. They're in little like square rectangular kind of containers like this. They do work, but I find the holes in most of them aren't very good, so it gets kind of annoying to try to continually thread beads where the holes are not big enough. But look for small beads. So let's see. And again, your orifice, make sure your beads fit through your orifice, because you don't want to get those beads stuck in your orifice and have to try to get them out. Well, thank you for watching, and happy spinning and happy weaving, and keep posting. Bye.